Hello, and welcome to that Eurovision podcast, Eurovision with a Slice of Life. My name is Rory, and I'm doing pretty well today. At the time of recording, my birthday was yesterday, so I am now officially 1 year older. Woo!
Did everyone stream Habba Habba for Rory's birthday?
Well, I mean, I'm 22 now, so that means that you need to stream Sarah McTurnan, so...
I'm just going to keep tweeting at Stella Mwangi that video of you singing and dancing to Habba Habba age 11.
One day she will respond. I can see it.
Notice me, Stella!
Notice me, Stel Pie. Yeah, I'm very, very happy, and I'm happy to kind of just get into recapping everything today, because it's been a very, very busy week now. And joining me,
Jazzy. It's been an okay week. Not done too much. Again, it's very hard to do anything when you're in lockdown. But yeah, and I've got some French fancies with me, which I feel is very appropriate because there's a section of news where we're really going to get into France.
That is true.
Speaking of French fancies, Barbara Pravi, Step on Me.
We're not even like 2 minutes into recording, and already this is what's going on.
I have a reputation to uphold.
I feel that's a record, Rosie, for you to say, ask somebody to step on you.
I mean, I've only asked
about 10
5 people to step on me this week. Emmy, Ole Hart, Barbara Pravi. I asked Juliette Moraine to marry me, so kind of the same thing, really. And Alexandra Rotan once more, because that Monument video. Oh, yes.
Okay, so basically, you've got an entire queue waiting for you, ready to go.
You basically got the whole of MGP just ready to go.
Ready to go.
Hi, it's Rosie. I'm doing pretty well. Yeah, really excited to talk about stuff because it feels like so much has happened this week, and I'm really feeling quite hyped for the season now, and that's exciting.
I'm so happy to be getting involved and just enjoying everything. It's it just feels like we're in some sense of normality now, and I love that.
Because this is our first proper Eurovision season, just getting stuff done, writing articles, doing news podcasts, and it's amazing.
It's really good.
It's great. And to thank you so much to anyone who's been listening so far. You know, we obviously value when you just decide to click that play button. So, but yes, so as we have all alluded to, yet again, we are without a Tim. And unfortunately, that is just because he does not have the authority to be on this podcast. And we are making this an incredibly time-stamped podcast. If you get the reference, my God, well done for having a fantastic memory, honestly. But yes, Tim does not have the authority this week to join the podcast. Maybe he will next week. We'll have to wait and see. But yes, so we are practically in our we're in our 3rd month now of Eurovision news and the Eurovision sort of national final season. So, things are starting to get hyped up and ramped up. So, are we ready to go?
I'm ready.
Yeah.
Fantastic. So, it's me that is leading today with our news section. And so to kick us off, we might as well start with the most newsworthy items, is that we actually have 2 new songs for Eurovision 2021. This feels amazing because, but also at the same time, we need to treasure this because I don't think we're going to be getting anything like this now for a very long time, given how every single broadcaster is deciding to send its song and release its song in March. Us Eurofans are starving. Please feed us. But Yes, so to kick us off, we had our third song to be released for Eurovision came in the form from France. So France held its national selection, Eurovision, c'est vous qui décidez. And you can listen to our predictions and our previews of the songs that were competing in last week's podcast. And yes, so France has chosen Barbara Pravi with the song Voilà, completely in French. And yeah, I mean, what do we make of this? Do we think, was it expected? What do you think the staging is going to be like? What do you think?
I was very much expecting this song to win in France. I feel like it's something that France would go for. And then when I saw the judges were getting emotional over it, I was just like, yeah, this is going to win. And the staging was amazing. I wasn't the biggest fan of Voila before, but then I saw the staging and thought, oh, this is really good. And I really, really hope they stick with the same concept at Eurovision because it has so much potential to do well. But we know that France translating their staging from their national final to the contest has not always been smooth. And I just hope they stick with what they know works. Because they have potential to get a top 10 with this. Because I feel like this is a song that's going to move quite a lot of people like who are watching in Europe. And I feel like juries are just going to eat this song up because Barbara is an amazing vocalist and performer. And she puts so much emotion into it. So, yeah, that's what I think. There was other songs that were more to my taste, like Giotto Maria Dance by Terence James or Casanova's Tutti. However, I'm more than happy for this to win, as I think this is the song that will probably give France the best result at Eurovision, and that is what we like to see.
Absolutely on the same page as you. I think probably I'm not sure if it's my favourite or sort of my tied favourite was probably Maeva. I just think the harmonies of that are so beautiful. But I think that Voila has a much more universal appeal. I think it's performed beautifully. I've seen a lot of people compare it to Amar Pelos Deutsch. And I've said before, I appreciate Amar Pelos Deutsch for what it does. And I think it's objectively a lovely song, but it doesn't emotionally do anything for me. And I think Voila really does. I find it really quite moving and beautiful. And the other thing as well, I'm trying to learn to sing it at the moment, and it's hard. It is a really complex and difficult song. And so I think the juries are going to love it, and I hope that it will emotionally resonate with the public as well. Like Jazzy said, I just really, really hope they keep the staging similar because it was so effective. And that is really what sold it for me. You could tell the entire atmosphere watching was just so different to every other song when it played. And I'm delighted it won. I'm also delighted Maeva came third. Thank you very much, public vote.
Yes.
And honestly, just generally, I thought it was a great national final. I just want to give a few shout outs. First of all, to Valentina, who was a joy and amazing. Her singing Ne partez pas sans moi was gorgeous. Also to Laurence Boccolini, who was the female host, who was an absolute joy. And also to Duncan Lawrence for shouting down someone for saying that a song doesn't have a very Eurovision sound by saying that there is no such thing as a Eurovision sound. We love you, Duncan Lawrence. You're great. We stan.
Tim, is this you, but just dressed up as Rosie? No, I was live tweeting this national final, and I produced the article afterwards, and I think it was pretty much from the get-go. I think it was pretty much obvious that Barbara was going to win Eurovision, c'est vous qui décidez. I think it was incredibly staged. I think the way that they played around with negative space and the lighting and the projections, and in that really chaotic sort of final chorus and outro, that kind of like where it goes right up, like the camera comes right up into her face and you can feel the chaos. Like, to be honest, I did immediately first think that maybe they had just decided to give her a GoPro and just like stick it on her arm and just hope for the best, but but I think it played really, really, really well, and I'm so happy for her. And I think France is definitely going to be having a very high position, I think, regardless of what the other songs are. To me, this is a very typical sort of representation of France, and I think it really is like the song that just encapsulates everything that is so like quintessentially French, you know, like in like for example the jury's comments on it were so sort of like alluding to like the legacy of the chanteuse, the chanson and all of that, you know, and it just works perfectly, and I'm so happy to see that, you know, the Euro fandom is actually responding really positively to it, because YouTuber Tessellating Hexagons actually kind of mentioned this in his review for the song. There would have been a period in between sort of Patricia Cass in 2009 and Salvador Sobral winning in 2017 where a song like Voila would not be appreciated at all. It would say, oh, it's drab, it's boring, it's unnecessary, and it's like, now I think people have just sort of matured in terms of their taste, and this is what I love to see, because, you know, we never hear anything like this in Eurovision, and this to me is like a perfect sort of representation of a country. But yes, in terms of the rest of the show, I wish that Casanova was also like really, really high. I know he finished fourth and he came second in the televote, so I'm so happy about that. But I will say, how the hell, like, as much as I love this artist, I have no idea what the jury was seeing in Pony X, because Pony X seemed so off-key, and he couldn't sing properly, and it's like, where the hell did this come from?
I just didn't get it. I just didn't get the love for it. And there were a few songs where I was very confused that they made the super final, and very confused where certain songs didn't. And I think when I looked at it, like the four big favourites after Barbara all didn't qualify, apart from LMK, who had to be put through by the jurors.
And then she came last with the televote then as well.
Yeah. I'm not saying it was rigged, because it wasn't.
Oh no, we're chucking out the R word.
And I've seen a lot of people claim that it was rigged. And let me say, it wasn't. It was quite interesting to see how France's tastes differed from what the fandom was thinking, what bookies were thinking. And I guess it made the final quite exciting.
Definitely, yeah.
I think all the songs really came alive on stage. When I listened to them just as audio clips or the little rehearsal clips that they showed, nothing was really standing out to me. And now I've got about 3 or 4 songs that are staples on what I listen to on a daily basis. And I like that. I think that's great.
Ooh, songs grew on you.
Yeah, absolutely. I think just seeing them being performed live, having a staging, having the artist really put absolutely everything into it really made a lot of songs work for me, and I really enjoyed watching it.
Yeah, I think overall it was a fantastic show, and France Télévisions, if this is what you're planning on doing with like Junior Eurovision, I am not going to be complaining at all. But yes, let's move on to the other song that we managed to get this week. And this has come in the form of Ukraine. So Ukraine had kind of been back and forth in terms of whatever the hell they were doing. But in quite possibly might be the fastest developing national final internal selection news that has ever happened. We now have our fourth Eurovision song, which comes from Ukraine, and it's Go A with the song Shum. Now, Shum was already released to the general public before it was sort of announced to be in contention for Eurovision. And obviously the jury, consisting of, Jamala and Yevgeny Filatov and sort of other directors from UAPBC, they all collectively decided that Shum should be the song to represent Ukraine. And I'm going to kick us off here. I really love this song. I think this has easily become my number one. I listen to it on a very, very regular basis. I've showed it to locals, I've showed it to friends and family, all of whom are really enjoying it, especially when the sort of crescendo happens in the sort of final minute or so. And it's going to pain me so much to see like what they've cut out to make it down to 3 minutes, because currently the song is 3 minutes 58. So I have no idea how the hell they're going to manage to make it, but I think there's a lot of potential here, and I think it's just shown that Go-A have sort of taken what people didn't necessarily like about Solove and then sort of adapt it so that it would be a lot more palatable to a wider audience. And I think with that, the world is their oyster here. But yes, as Ukraine is my stan country, I will happily accept this offering, and I am going to stream Shum for clear skin.
I am so glad that Go-A have chosen to keep their songs in Ukrainian, and because there was for a moment where we thought they were going to go into English, and I was just like, no, please don't do that. Stay in Ukrainian. This is very, very, very unique, and I think this will stand out very within Eurovision, and I think it could do really well. I feel like televoters will really gravitate towards this because this song just builds, and then in that last minute or so, it really speeds up, and it's just such a climax. And I just think Eurofans are going to eat this up. I really hope they do, because Ukraine deserve a good result. They've had a tough couple of years. Let's just hope this is the year where things just start to improve for them a little bit.
I hate to be the person that once again agrees with both of you and gives absolutely no new insight on this, but I fucking love Shum. When it was first released and we didn't know that it was a Eurovision entry, I started listening to it quite a lot and I got really into it. I really love just Go-A's whole sort of vibe, that sort of modern folk music, I think is absolutely gorgeous and so unique, and everything I love about Eurovision generally. And then when they announced that it was in the running as one of the songs that had been chosen, I was like, why did you let me get attached to this song? Because now I'm going to be disappointed if it doesn't get selected. And as much as I did like the other songs that we got snippets for, Shum really does do it for me. And I'm so glad that they selected it. I've already seen a few cuts where people have sort of tried to make it down to 3 minutes. Mostly by cutting out and shortening a lot of the bits where they do sort of prolong moments or repeat things. And it's like they've been sort of very amateurish sort of edits, but they've sounded perfectly fine to me. It's not going to do an Occidentales Karma. If it does do an Occidentales Karma, I am going to unalive, because that was my nightmare. That was my worst nightmare.
Oh God.
But yeah, I'm delighted. And I thought the tweet that they put out was quite interesting, because what I got the impression that Shum was just going to be a single, and then they released it, and then they saw so many sort of comments about it and feedback about it that they were sort of persuaded to put it in the running as one of their potential songs, and they've sort of gone for it from that. I didn't get the impression that they were intending on using it as a Eurovision song, but I'm so glad they are. I'm very much looking forward to hearing more stuff from them because I think they're great.
Yeah, I think there's so much potential here, and now that we have Go Away in there, now that we actually have songs to compare songs in semi-finals now, so as time goes on, we'll actually be able to provide a little bit more in-depth sort of insight as to maybe when I don't know, Hooverphonic decide to finally release their song, we might be able to say whether or not it fits in with the vibe that they're trying to go for. But
you know what Hooverphonic's song is singing right now? Release me.
Oh my god. But yes, so let's move on, and we are now going to be talking about the song. Well, now that we have 4 songs in Eurovision, we are now going to be getting our 5th song tonight when this comes out, and that is going to be coming from Lithuania. And Lithuania's national selection, Pabanda Mashnoyo, has sort of reached its climax, and now we have 6 songs in contention. We've got Evita Tololo with Be Paslapchu, Gebrasi with Where Do You Want to Go, Martina Jezepchikaite with Thank You Very Much, Titas Irbenas with No, Valdemar Petersons with Never Fall For You Again, and of course The Roop with Discotheque. So first of all, what do you guys make of the final and the final lineup? And secondly, who do you think is going to win?
I really like 5 of the 6 songs in the final. I'm not too sure on Iveta's song, but I think it's simply because it's the one I've listened to the least. But I really like the other 5, all for different reasons. I think the Roop are absolutely going to win. However, when you hear that the jury has more power than the televote, I wouldn't be entirely shocked if Gebrasi did end up accidentally winning. Although it would be a shit show on Twitter if that did happen.
Uh-oh.
And I'd feel very sorry for him because I know that he reads his comments on Twitter. So if he does win, be nice.
Well, my favourite went out in the semis, aside from the Roop. Ace to Broken Leg. I love you. Please come back. You deserved better. So I am 100% on Team The Roop right now. The other songs are nice. They're pleasant. But I just seem to find myself getting drawn back to Discotheque over and over and over again in a way that I very rarely get with songs. And I can't quite decide if it would be my first or my second if it won. I definitely like it similarly to how much I like Shum, but none of the others compare to me. They're fine. They're perfectly pleasant songs, but there's something very special to me about Discotheque that I'm really, really hoping makes it win.
Yeah, I think Discotheque would do very well at Eurovision. It has potential to give Lithuania their best ever result, and it'd just be such a missed opportunity if they did not go for this.
I think I'm kind of on the same level with you guys, that I think no matter what, the Roop, I think it really is the shoe-in to win Pabanda Mashnoyo.
It's what's going to come second.
Yeah, it's mostly because when you look at the sort of streams and the views that the Roop has amassed over at least 2-3 weeks, they're breaking their own records on Spotify. They're breaking their own records on YouTube. To me, it just makes so much sense that the Roop is just going to win. And if not, there is going to be hell. I can see it. I can see it happen right now.
Especially as who is likely to win if they don't reads his Twitter. And he reads what we're saying.
Yeah. Of course, obviously, you know, the rest of the final of Pabanda Mashnoya, I think it's still a very strong final. I think it's mostly just because the fact that the Roop had been so hyped up.
Yeah.
If the Roop wasn't competing, Gabrasi would walk this, I think. I do really also like Martina. Martina, I spoke about very often on this podcast. I think it's a very good song. I'm not that really big of a fan of the others, but I also would like to give a special shout out to Ovita for being, you know, a song in Lithuanian to actually make it fully into the final. And imagine if we actually got another song that was completely in Lithuanian. That would have been like the first time since, I don't know, like at least the
Since language rule?
2000s.
Since language rule?
Maybe.
It's such a gorgeous song to me, but I'm too old for this TikTok thing. I'm too old for this shit.
Yeah.
I don't understand it.
It's like, how are they doing it?
Why is this a thing? Why does it suddenly become portrait and she's singing into a ring light? I'm confused. I am an old person and I don't know these things.
Yep. I think with the other two songs that we haven't mentioned, I think Valdemar's Peterson song, Never Fall For You Again, I feel like it's taken some inspiration from Dathi Freya, but it completely misses the point. Titi Sabanis' song, I personally really like, but it came out around the same time as Hurt and Lie in the UMK, and that's probably why I like it, because I like those two songs as well. And it's just like my I feel like crap song. Go to for some reason, and it's ended up being my second in Pambandom is now Joe for that reason, which is not great. But I've always stated on my Twitter, I do not want this song to go to Eurovision. I just like it.
Well, I guess we'll have to find out. The obviously the national final is happening tonight, so please just stay tuned to our Twitter, because of course we're going to be live tweeting the final, so be prepared. And yeah, please do get involved for that. We'll all collectively watch to see if the Roop can actually make it again. We'll have to wait and see. Let's move on. And now we are going to sort of, keeping with the tradition of having Lithuania and this next country, we're going to talk about Norway. So Norway had their third semi-final, and of which it came down to between Big Daddy Karsten with Smile and Emmy with Witchwoods, with Emmy managing to beat it out into the final. And are we surprised by this?
No, but sad. No, but sad.
Yeah, I think it was pretty obvious.
Robbed.
I love Witchwoods. I just also really like Via Norge, and I'm just very sad that I can't have both.
I mean, there's a wild card.
Please, Norway, please.
The wild card season coming up soon, so be prepared.
Like, there are a few others I'd also be very happy getting the wild card. It'd be great to see Stina Tallinn get it. It'd be great to see Maria Solheim get it. Honestly, nothing from the fourth semi has stood out to me at all. So one of those three, please.
Yes, well, you've just beaten me to it now.
I'm thinking it will be Stina or Ollie, but like based on the fandom's reactions. But again, Norway could do something completely like
left field and unpredictable.
Left field, and but at the moment, I think it will be Elevate or Via Norge that get the wild card. So
well, we'll have to wait and see. Obviously, there are another 4 songs in contention for another place in the final tonight. The songs that are in contention tonight are Kim with My Lonely Voice, Landevegens Helter with Alt Det Der. I don't really know if that really sounded anything like Norwegian, but we can only hope. Marianne Petha and Mikael Gaup with Pages, and Royan with Circus. And then, of course, we also have a performance of Atle Peterson's pre-qualified song for the final, which is World on Fire. So have we had a chance to listen to any of these songs? And if so,
I have listened to these songs once, and I don't mind if I don't listen to them again. because they're not bad. They just pass me by. They're just there. I'd say Pages is probably the best of like the four the four songs that are competing tonight. Although I'd actually say that this week it's the best song probably comes from the automatic qualifier, which is Alte Peterson and World on Fire.
I'm feeling pretty similar. They are just very sort of, for the most part, very averagey sounding songs. My favorite is Out There. I just because it's a bit different and it stands out, and it's a bit of fun. Really, like all of the others are fine, and I include World on Fire amongst that because I saw a lot of hype about it, and I was a little bit disappointed when I listened to it. I thought it was very average, and I find it quite, I know it's just the luck of the draw, but I just feel sad that there are so many songs in the other semis that I like so much, and this particular one, there's just nothing that is catching me at all. But yeah, like I say, it's the luck of the draw. It happens. Let's see what happens on the night.
I feel like when you have like these national finals that have several heats, you're always going to have one where it is a little bit of a dud. And I feel like this tonight is the dud, unfortunately.
Yeah, I mean, I've only heard a snippet of Circus, and that sounded interesting, to say the least. But I haven't really listened to any of the other songs, to be honest, so I don't really have much of an opinion. So we'll have to wait and see if it comes out all right. Maybe, who knows? Maybe the staging might completely change what you guys think of the songs. Who knows? We'll have to wait and see. But speaking of a Scandinavian country, it's time. It's the age of it all is all coming towards us now. It is the first semi-final of Melodifestivalen 2021 tonight, and yes, we had snippets and rehearsals come out, and I'm just going to kick this off by saying that I haven't heard any of these songs, so I have absolutely nothing to sort of add to any of this. But what do you guys think of the songs from the first semi-final?
They're not as strong as I would expect them to be for a Melodifestivalen heat at all. This could just be the weak heat of Melodifestivalen, but none of these songs really grabbed my attention. One Touch by Kaidato kind of feels like the song and the staging, it's going to like really like bring the atmosphere, the party atmosphere, and I think it will do very well. However, it's just not my cup of tea. The big favourite, Danny Sosteko with Dandy Dancer. No. Just no.
No.
Do not like this. I don't like music like this. No. I didn't mind Paul Ray's song, The Missing Piece, is probably my favourite of the snippets that I heard, but again, it didn't do too much for me. It just stood out a little bit more than the other 6, but none of them were amazing. I don't think there's a winner here for Melfest, and if there is, then I'm very worried for how well Sweden would do this year. Like, would they keep up their top 10 streak? But I do think there's more to come from Sweden. So
I have managed to listen to all of the snippets we've had out, and including the rehearsal videos. And there are a few that I quite like. I would like to wave a very small flag for Lilla Sister because, again, it's a bit different and it's a bit of fun. And I like to see rock music get some appreciation. And I've not seen a lot of love for this, and I've seen a lot of dislike for this. So I'm going to sit here and wave a very tiny Lilla Sister flag because I hope you do better and you deserve more love.
I feel like
As well
the
as-
Lily Lister snippet is that you didn't really get to hear it. You got to hear the build-up and then you didn't hear anything else. So maybe it will grow on me when I hear the full thing.
Yeah, and I think some of these are songs, actually quite a lot of these are songs that are really going to come alive on the stage. The music by itself didn't do a lot for me. I did quite enjoy Arvingana with Tanke Inter als Geheim. I thought it's a bit boy bandy, it's a bit schlagery, but it's a boy band singing some fun, happy harmonies. Can't go too far wrong there for me.
Rosie, they're not a boy band, they're a man band.
Oh, God.
They're in their 40s, they might be even older.
They're a dad band.
Is it a bit similar to like Ravaiaks? You know, like a few years ago in Melodifestivalen, where it's like, you know, those kind of the granddads, like, okay, let's get you off the dance floor and back you into the care home.
Or like a Westlife tribute concert.
Oh, okay.
Or a Take That tribute concert. They're that sort of age.
Right. Okay.
Like definitely like sort of mid 40s-ish.
Okay. Interesting. Okay.
Well,
they
represented Sweden in '93.
Did they? I did not
with
know
their song
that.
Eloise, so they're definitely not that young.
I was minus 6 years old then.
Aww, Rory's a Ben.
I'm a bubba. Oh.
But yeah, I like that. I think it's a bit of fun. All of the others, I quite like the staging for Dandy Dancer, but the song doesn't do it for me at all. I think One Touch and probably also Fingerprints and The Missing Piece, I think have the potential to be very good. But I think it is really going to come down to how it's performed on the night, because I think they all seem to really require a very sort of captivating vocal performance, and they've got to pull it off.
Well, I mean, I've seen a lot of controversy, I think, to say the least, of surrounding the first semi-final of Melodifestivalen, so we'll have to watch tonight and see whether or not all of the criticism was justified, really. But yeah, so we have two more little bits of news that aren't necessarily major news, of course. So that was covered everything that was going on in the past week and on tonight. So the rest of this is all very small sort of tidbits. So for this next bit of news, we're going to go to the Czech Republic. Now, obviously, Czech Republic has already selected Benny Christo as their representative all the way back in May, right before I think Love Shine a Light was, which is fantastic. You know, it's great to see artists, you know, and broadcasters standing by their artists. But we got some news that they have selected the song number 3 in whatever kind of internal selection jury that was going on internally within Česká televize. And we also got some word that there is going to be a couple of lines in Czech, which means that Czech is now going to be represented in the contest for the first time since 2007, which is fantastic, which means that it's been like 14 years. But what are you sort of expecting from Czech Republic? Apparently, and also in the live, because this news was broadcast from an Instagram live from Eurovision Czech Republic's official Instagram account, and they said that it's in a completely different vein from what Que Mama was, so no Afrobeat, nothing like that. So what are you guys expecting to come from Benny Christo?
I hope it stays up tempo. I guess I'm maybe expecting something a bit, I don't know, a bit Benjamin Ingrosso, like up tempo, but maybe a little bit more polished than Que Mama was. Maybe a bit more of a contemporary up tempo song. Although I would have been happy happy if they'd kept the Afro beats because it would have been something different for Eurovision. But I imagine they're going to go for something a little bit mainstream, poppy, something along the lines of Luca Hany, Benjamin Ingrosso. That's kind of something I'm expecting from Czech Republic.
Honestly, I'm really sad that it's not going to be Afropop because I felt that was so unique. I didn't really take to Kamama, but it felt so interesting and I enjoyed listening to it. And so I'm really disappointed that they're not taking that opportunity to go down that same sort of unique pathway that I feel is quite natural for Benny Cristo as an artist. I still hope it's a great song. I'm just kind of sad to be losing out on a genre that is a little bit different to what we would usually see.
Yeah, I grew to like Kamama, and I think that people did really sleep on Benny Cristo. I mean, you know, Czech Republic last year, that national selection was so strong. So strong. And you know, if you're able to produce a national final with that quality, that level of quality, I think, you know, anything is possible. And I think Benny Cristo has got a lot of potential, and you know, the fact that he's including the Czech, I'm loving that because, you know, linguophiles rise, you know. But I'm just really looking forward to seeing what he comes out with. It's going to be a while, obviously. Probably won't be until March time. But given, you know, Czech Republic's change in fortunes over the past few years, I would love it if Benny Cristo can sort of keep up the momentum. And if it means, you know, experimenting a little bit more with different genres, then I'm totally okay with that. I just don't want Czech Republic to withdraw again because we missed them so much for the last, like, between 2009 and 2015. It's like, I don't want that to happen again. Oh, yes. But, yes, so stay tuned for all of the news that will come out from Czech Republic. No doubt it probably will be in March. And our final little bit of news is a bit of a reconfirmation, essentially, because Lenny Kerr, who won Eurovision in 1969 with De Troubadour, and Kenny Kaspers, who is the lead singer of Teach In, who obviously won Eurovision in 1975 with Ding a Dong, they have reconfirmed that they will be part of the interval acts for the, I believe it's the final. But yes, so they've completely reconfirmed. So what do we think?
Yay!
Yay! I love Ding a Dong.
Yeah.
Looking forward to it already.
I'm sure that they're going to be fantastic. I mean, let it just be known, De Troubadour should have actually just been the one winner of 1969, but you know, you can't have it both ways. I don't want
Four ways though, they did have it.
Yeah, I mean, I don't want to take away any more from the Spanish Euro fans that they already, you know, they've been struggling for the past like 50 years. I don't want to take them, like, the legitimacy of their second win away from them.
I mean, I don't think you want to face that wrath.
Yeah, no, I'm not going to open up that can of worms, don't worry.
Because, well, it just feels nice to be getting confirmation that stuff is happening. Exactly. And even just the littlest bit of information, I'm just like, put it in an IV, hook it into my veins, please.
Oh!
I will bleed Eurovision news.
I also completely forgot. We have to talk about the scenario that we are going to be in for this year's contest. So, unfortunately, as well, we are not going to be having a Eurovision like we usually are, but I think we kind of had seen that coming. But yes, now we are striving towards a scenario B edition of the contest, whereby that is between 0 to 80% of the audience being socially distanced from the from each other and from the artists in the Ahoy Arena. And all of the performers will still be able to take part in Rotterdam. That is what we are hoping. That is what we are striving for. But of course, if that is not the case, then Scenario C and Scenario D are there. Scenario C has been updated a little bit and revised, whereby no artist will be able to travel to Rotterdam if that is the case. So there still will be an audience in the Ahoy if it goes ahead in Scenario C, but there will not be any participants in the arena. So do you think that, we are going to get a Scenario B, or do you think it's more likely that we're going to get a Scenario C or D?
It matters how many. I feel like they want to keep it all in the spirit of fairness, so it really does matter how many countries cannot travel to Rotterdam come May, and I don't think we'll know that for a while.
Yeah, I agree. But on the other hand, I'm delighted we're getting a Eurovision at all, however that might happen. And on the one hand, I am, slightly disappointed that the artists might not be there. But on the other hand,
they need to keep it fair.
Yeah, exactly.
Exactly. And you can't really have,
because it's quite obvious if you have half and half, the countries that are there in Ahoy would have a small, maybe even major advantage over the ones that aren't. So they do need, if it's just one or two countries, I understand, but I think if it's more than say 5, I understand why they would go for Scenario C.
Yeah, I think
they can't have countries at a disadvantage.
Yeah. I think it will really come down to what the situation is going to be like in the Netherlands itself, within the couple of weeks before rehearsals start. Because if rehearsals, if in that time period, the Netherlands kind of spikes in cases, for example, I think it's very, very likely that we may end up just going for a complete Scenario D. Otherwise, it really just depends on the safety of the artists. And of course, we've said it on this podcast before, we don't want people, risking their health for the sake of a contest, for the sake of a TV show. So, so long as, health and safety standards are being met and, they're confident and they're comfortable in traveling to Rotterdam for Scenario B, then more power to them, more power. But if not, I highly believe that it will be a Scenario C. But I can make a case for all 3 of them. It really just comes down to what the situation will be like in the Netherlands closer to the time.
And I mean, we've had Junior Eurovision done as basically a Scenario D, and that was pretty good. I'm happy if it's still like that.
Exactly,
I am wondering though if they're planning to keep the audience local because they've already refunded the tickets.
Oh, we've got some breaking news coming in.
Oh, do we?
Yes, Slovenia have released a statement about Anna Silkwich's entry.
Oh wow, fantastic! What does it say?
So they've released a statement saying that she will be singing a song. They have chosen it. Of course she is singing a song. She's
doing a spoken word piece.
I'd be all up for that, to be quite honest. But yeah, she is singing a song that is not a ballad, and it is in English.
Oh, okay.
That is what we know so far.
Interesting. Okay. Well, that's going to be a bit of a departure then, because Voda was like a mid-tempo ballad that was purely in Slovenian. So,
are we going for an English banger?
Yeah, I'm excited.
It would definitely be a change for her, because Voda was such a ballad, and also when she did the home concert, she did Sus as her voted on entry, which is another sort of native language ballad, and it'll be very interesting to see her do something different.
I'm just reading that apparently the person that's wrote the song has worked with an artist like Miley Cyrus. So, make of that what you will.
This is very interesting. I like the sound of this. Woo! But
They haven't said when it's going to be released yet, but it will probably be March.
It probably will be, let's be honest here.
And we've said that, and it'll probably be next week. So pull a Ukraine.
Keep our fingers crossed, because, the more songs that come out in February, the better.
Wait, it is coming out in February. It is going to be on a 60-year anniversary celebration of EMA. And that will be also the presentation of the entry then.
Oh, yay!
So it's still basically in March, but it says February, so it's okay.
Look, we have to find positivity wherever we can.
Yeah.
And on that bombshell, that takes us to the end of today's news. Yeah, wow, okay, so that was a very interesting session. I'm really looking forward to sort of enjoying all of tonight's shows. I'm sure it's going to be beautiful. And that takes us to the end of this episode of that Eurovision podcast. I'd really like to thank Jazzy and Rosie just for recapping everything, and even getting breaking news to the contest as well. I mean, who would have seen that we were that on the ball? But yeah, of course, please do follow our social medias as well tonight. On our Twitters, we will be live tweeting all of the national selections again. Who is going to be live tweeting Pabanda Mishnoyo?
Me, Jazzy.
And who is going to be live tweeting Melodifestivalen?
I think that's going to be me.
Woo! And yes, we
coming
will...
fresh from a discussion about sex toys.
Beautiful. If you can find a way...
I love my work.
If you can find a way to work in a joke about a sex toy during Melfest, I'll give you £5.
Noted.
Yeah. But yes, so in the meantime, please do continue to follow our social media. We're on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter at That Euro Podcast. We're also on Spotify and Apple Podcasts as well, so please do continue to follow us there and support us there, so you always get notified for whenever a new episode comes out. And yes, we are really kicking off the third month of national final season. Please do bear with us when March comes around and we have nothing but just internal selections for you to listen to. But yeah, shall we all say goodbye?
Bye.